I thought it might be helpful if I made a short video just to show you some tricks that you can use if you are going to create your brochure in Microsoft Word. I know the formatting can get to be a little bit tricky. Some of you may not be using Microsoft Word, you may be using another program, but if you are using Microsoft Word and you know that you can't use just the built-in templates that Microsoft Word provides, I thought I would provide at least some kind of guidance on how to do that. So that's what this quick video is going to show. First thing you'll want to do is arrange the format of your page here. I just have a blank Word document open, and if you're using a PC it will look slightly different, but the commands should be mostly the same. So I'm going to go up to Format and Document, and then I'm going to select Page Setup, and I'm just going to change this to Landscape. This is how I do it. There's probably an easier, faster way that you know of to change your document to landscape, but this is how I do it. So I'll hit OK. And now I have a landscape page. I always have my hidden character showing, which is this backwards P, or a pilcrow is what this character is called, right here. If you turn it off, that hidden character of the paragraph mark goes away, but I always have that on so that I can see how I'm formatting things. What this is telling me is that I have pretty big margins to the left and above. And if I'm thinking that I'm going to create a 3-column brochure in this area, it's going to mean that I'm not giving myself a whole lot of space for text and images and things like that. So I'm going to go back to Format and Document, and I'm going to adjust my margins, and I'll make them, let's just say 3/4 of an inch. Whoops. Each one, like this. And now you can see that that moved my available text space up and to the left so that I don't have margins that are quite as big. That'll give me a little bit more room to maximize my area. Okay, so I know that I'm going to make this 3 columns. So one way to do this is to create 3 columns in this actual document. So I'll go up to Format and Columns, and I'll select 3, and I'll keep this selected. I want my columns to be equal width, and the only real reason I'm doing this is to be able to see exactly where those 3 columns would line up so that I don't have to do the math myself. In other words, I may have had to say, you know, the available space for text in this document divided by 3 would mean that each column would be 2.83 inches. I don't want to have to do that myself, so I just let Word do that by telling it I want 3 columns all of equal width. And I like to have this line between so that I can see exactly where my columns divide. So I'll hit OK. And now a subtle change happened to my Word document. Up here in this ruler, I can see some blue shaded areas that I'm circling with my mouse here. That tells me that this area is not going to allow for text. In other words, this is going to be where my column divides. Same with this piece here. So if I go and find just some filler text here that I'll pull from the assignment sheet, and I just start copying and pasting that in, notice that as I do, it keeps that text to one column, and if I paste it again, it moves it to this next column and it draws that line between the columns like I said as was shown by that checkbox that we selected. So I'll keep doing that, and I know that this is going to be a front and a back brochure, so I'll just do it until I have 2 pages worth here. Now this is all just dummy text, right? You're not actually going to use this, but it shows you where your columns are and where you can place images and where you can place text. So we know that this rightmost panel is going to be the actual cover of my brochure, so I'll put my cursor there, and I'll just insert an image. There's a couple more things I want to show you here. I'll insert one of these little clip art things that I found. So we'll go to Gallery, and then there's this picture of this kind of an older computer that we'll choose. Okay, so I'll just choose one of these images, and the image will be placed right where I had my cursor. So there it is. It's actually sized really quite nice, but notice that I can't move it around. If I wanted to change the placement of this image, let's say I wanted to put a headline above it or something like that, I can't move it around. So what I need to do is go to my Format Picture tab that shows up when I have my image selected. So if you don't see Format Picture, you've got to click on the image first and then you'll see it. I'll come over here to Text Wrap, and all of you have used Text Wrap for your previous assignments, but I'll select top and bottom in this case just to make sure that I have text that only goes to the top and the bottom. Now that moved my image, but it also allows me to move my image wherever I want it to go. So I'll move that around, I'll move it back up to the top here, and I want to make sure that it's aligned with the top of my little lines between my columns and with the top of my text here. So something that you can do to help you with your alignment is when you click on the image, you go back to Format Picture. Whoops, and I just made it disappear. I'll make it reappear. I can select Align, and you can actually turn on little grid marks in Microsoft Word. So I'll select Grid Options, and then I'll leave it all as default. You can change how far apart your grid marks are spaced, etc. But I'll leave it all as default, and I'll just say Display Grid Lines on Screen. So when I do that, it shows these faint gray little marks. This will help you as you align different objects on your page, so that you can see, make sure that each element is aligned to something else. That's just a really brief kind of tutorial. Obviously, you would be going through and replacing some of this text to put the information that you want there. One last trick or tip that I'll show you. If I have some text here, and let's say this is my back panel, and I don't want it to be full of text, I just want maybe a phone number or just some kind of conclusion text of some kind. I can write out the text that I want, and then instead of just hitting the return key over and over to move all my text around, I can just hit, I can create a column break. So I'll go into Insert, Break, and then Column Break. And what that will do is it will move all of the text that was here previously, and it will move it one column over. Now obviously that made some adjustments to my image that I didn't really like, so I'll move that back. But at this point, it's looking pretty good. So I hope that helps. Again, if you have questions, please contact me. I hope this gets you started.